Kia ora and welcome to the Creative Matters podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with New Zealand artists. I'm your host, Mandy Yarkich. These conversations are intimate, uplifting and insightful. The guests on the show have absolutely enriched my life, and I'm sure their stories will have the same effect on you. Thank you so much for joining me to listen to these amazing people speak about what drives them, the way they work, and their personal takes on life. Good morning, and thank you very much for joining me today. This week I'm speaking with Helen Ollivier. Helen is a painter living in West Auckland. She graduated from Elam School of Fine Arts in 1997, and since then she has had 6 solo exhibitions, participated in group shows, and she's been included in several New Zealand art publications. In the last few years, she has been busy running art programs for kids and raising 4 children of her own, which has left little time and headspace for her own work. Recently, she has embarked on a 100-day challenge in order to find her voice as an artist, and she's loving the opportunity to become a full-time artist again.
The main goal was to get my artistic voice back, just to find myself again. Yeah.
Her latest works are landscapes with a very strong compositional element. She is interested in rhythm and movement and the contrast of texture, colour and light. Her work has a dreamlike quality, combining a unique sense of movement and stillness. Helen and I have a lovely, lovely chat about how she came to be represented by a dealer gallery in her second year of Elam School of Fine Arts, not long after leaving high school, and how amazingly she is still connected to this gallery 25 years later. She speaks openly about prioritising her art practice, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and the joy she has found rediscovering her art practice after a 5-year hiatus. Good morning, Helen.
Good morning, Mandy.
So lovely to see you.
Oh, lovely to be here. Really, really nice.
Yeah, it's great. Now, we just to get a bit of context, we had met, I think, about 7 years ago.
Yes.
6 or 7 years ago, first met. And you were running Wild Things art classes.
Yep.
And I was watching you with envy, thinking, how amazing, how does she do this? How could I ever do anything even remotely close to what you're doing? And that was when I was just starting up Creative Matters.
Yes.
And so you were very generous and kind and said that you'd be happy to do a bit of mentoring with me.
Yeah.
And we met for coffee a few times and you talked to me about how you ran your business and it was really super helpful.
It was great. I really enjoyed having more people do what I was setting up. I really, wanted it for the communities. Because that's why I set it up. I recognised that there wasn't that facility in my community, and I wanted it for my kids. So I started my own one. And it was lovely to see you doing that in your community too. Providing that.
And it was really kind, for you to see it like that, rather than thinking of it as potentially competition or, I think people like us who do this kind of thing with art education and working with kids, we just, the more we can do for the community, the better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
We're all quite like-minded, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for helping me on my way. All right, Helen. So you have a really interesting story. I think it's a different story in a way that you went to Elam straight after high school and did some art, and then you stopped being an artist for quite a while.
Yeah. And
you're returning to it now.
Now getting back into it.
Yeah, which is so great. So can you tell us how you got to that point of going to Elam and where you were born and all that stuff?
All right. Well, I grew up on the North Shore and went to girls' school, Westlake Girls, where they had an amazing art department. I think my parents sent me there because they had a good music department and I played the cello, and it was a good opportunity. But actually, I really loved art. And I think I remember probably when I was quite young, maybe 13 or 14, saying, I just want to be an artist. That's what I want to do. And my parents were quite sceptical about that journey, and, worried that it would be a hard life. And so in order to help me cover all bases, I was encouraged to do sciences and maths as well. But I really, really excelled at art, and ended up with the top scholar award for bursary in my year for painting, and the second to top mark in the country for printmaking.
Wow.
So I did very well. I had a very, very good teacher there, and she was just so supportive and kind and wonderful.
Isn't it amazing how much, especially high school teachers, can do for art students?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I went to West Auckland Girls as well, but
I didn't know that.
Before you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there before you, quite a bit before you. But the art department, I mean, I've talked to various people who've come from West Auckland Girls, actually, and the art department at various times was pretty amazing. And Judy Dara was there, and Miss McBride. Miss
McBride was my teacher. That actually funny connection as well, that Lisa Oddy, who I went to art school with, also became a teacher at Westlake. I think she's still there, and she taught my daughter's teacher.
Wow!
Yeah, so it's a very strange connection.
Yeah,
but it's slightly off topic. But anyway, so I was very successful at school because of Miss McBride, and I was determined to go to art school. It was still not really what my parents wanted. I had good enough marks to get into med school as well, but I had failed first aid, so it wasn't really for me. I think the careers advisor was looking at my marks and saying I should go to med school and do art in my spare time. And I said, well, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to art school. I want to be an artist.
Which is incredible at that age, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very clear. I was very, very clear about it.
Especially when you don't have your parents sort of pushing for that, which not many children do, or teenagers do.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in that generation. Wow, that's really cool.
They were worried that I was going to be a poor, struggling
penniless.
artist. Yeah, penniless. That's it. Yeah. I mean, they did. They were very proud of me.
Yeah.
Also, so but yes, I went to art school. Very, very different at art school.
And you're at Elam School of Fine Art.
Yeah, I found it a bit like being thrown the deep end of having to be completely independent and managing my own processes, which I hadn't really learnt to do at school. The school was very structured, and Elam was not. Elam was, you have to really find your voice, and they're there to help you do it, but you've got to do the work. You've got to actually do the exploring.
And that can be hard for an 18-year-old. To find their voice when they haven't really lived a lot.
That's right. Yeah. What do I say? I have nothing.
Yeah. Who am I?
Who am I? Yeah. So it's all about that. It was all about that discovering. And just, I had lots of frozen moments then, where I just had no faith in myself and lots of self-doubt. Especially sort of going in as a top student, and then in amongst other people who were also top students, or had come from a different journey, who maybe were older, who'd come from a place of more experience, or just from a different life. I wasn't used to that, and it was a bit of a shock. But so what happened at art school was that I became quite, I was quite quiet. I was quite quiet and independent, and I would just do my work. It's one of the end of the year shows. I think it was the end of first year. The galleries come around and they have a look at young artists, and the gallery approached me and said, "Would like to sell your work." So I think that was in second year, or maybe one of the shows that we had in second year. And so I said, "Oh yeah, okay, well that's great."
Yeah, that's great. That would have felt affirming.
It does. It was very affirming, and it was exciting. And I started the relationship with the Parnell Gallery then in my second year of art school, and they were selling as much work as I could do from then. Apart from the work I had to submit for my assessments. And then straight out of art school, I had my first solo show, which was at the Parnell Gallery, and they had built up a following sufficient that I sold out on the opening night.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was on my way.
Yeah, you really were.
Yeah.
And that's probably quite rare, isn't it, for students to have that kind of buy-in so early?
Yeah.
How amazing.
And I've still got some work that I kept from that exhibition.
And what were you doing at that point?
Oh, so that exhibition was interesting. I was really interested in finding a way to find my voice, I think. So I was looking at lots of different artists, lots of quite famous artworks, and kind of taking pieces of them and trying them out. And what I decided was that I was going to find flowers from famous paintings and take a little piece of the flower and make it big. And I did a whole exhibition of that. I chose 10 quite famous works, and I took tiny pieces of the painting and just blow them up into this little square paintings, and they were all flowers, and so the whole exhibition was just a whole room of flowers. I think there were 200 pieces, and I was also interested in the relationship between the artist and the gallery, because I'd had that relationship for quite a few years already, and I was interested in the way that they took my work and made it into art. They were part of my art in a way, like all of that time. And their influence was quite apparent, I think. Like, I was quite clear that I wasn't painting anything to sell, but I was just interested in the relationship. So I said to them, right, I've got these 200 little pieces. I'd like you to arrange them. Like, you can do it however you want. You can put them in groups, you can, scatter them everywhere. It's up to you how you display the work. And what they did was they had they had some that they'd made into sets, and then they had a whole wall where the customer, the client, could just choose. They could pick their flowers and have them made into a collection. And the exhibition was called Pick Me.
Beautiful.
And people loved it. People loved being able to make their own little bouquet.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what were you, how were you actually interpreting the flowers that were coming from an artist's work? Were you taking the exact flower and enlarging it and then painting exactly what you saw, or were you changing it somehow?
Well, I was, you can't really help change it. I think there was definitely part of me in there. And part of the way that I work is very, I work very flat. So even I was taking little bits of Gauguin's of Van Gogh painting sunflowers. So it's a painting of Van Gogh sitting there painting, and he's got the sunflowers. So it's a sort of a Gauguin interpretation of Van Gogh, but then I'm interpreting it further. So the actual painting is not the same sort of texture as you would imagine, the Van Gogh with the raised paint. My paint is very flat.
And acrylic or oils?
Acrylic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to do the same painting. I'm just painting an interpretation of the painting.
I love that you've taken just a small part of it. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. And when you actually showed as exhibited them all together, did you explain or sort of talk about where they came from or made reference to the artist?
It was very much that. Yeah. Yeah. So one of the collections was the cornflowers on the dress of Venus from Botticelli's Birth of Venus. So just the cornflowers, just the pattern on the fabric of the dress, and you wouldn't really know that painting had flowers in it. But I'm taking very, very small part of it and making something of it.
I love that idea. And how did you come up with that idea, and what was your process for making that collection? It was a long time ago. But
it was a long time ago.
It's quite an interesting thing. I'm sure it's informed what you do now too.
Yeah, in a way it probably has. I guess I was just interested in what relates to what I do now is I'm interested in the paring down and the cropping of something, and I'm not really an epic painter. I like to paint the things that people don't notice, things that aren't necessarily recognizable, and I'm making a painting I'm making a painting and not necessarily of that thing, but using it to make something else. So that's sort of how I work.
Beautiful. So what happened after that sellout show?
Well, then I continued to do exhibitions, exploring that same sort of cropping idea. I did. We went overseas for a couple of years, and I didn't do any work while I was there. But when I came back, I was really taken with how New Zealand felt like home. Like you just don't realise how familiar it is until you've gone and come back. And so I did an exhibition called Coming Home, and that was really about the sort of striking contrast of the wooden houses, the weatherboard houses, and the sort of dark purakawa and flax, that sort of bright light and blue shadows, and really crisp and clear, and those sort of characterful houses that feel like home. Yeah, so that was that exhibition, and that was very successful as well.
And that was with Parnell Gallery again?
Yeah, I came back and exhibited with them. And from there, I was getting commissions. I think one of the paintings had, it was, sold. It sold before the opening night. It was sold sight unseen, and another 10 people wanted paintings. So the gallery sort of started taking names for commissions, and I started working through those commissions. And it didn't work out very well.
Really?
Because the first one I did, I was so pleased with it, and I took it into the gallery, and the guy came and looked at it, and he said it wasn't what he asked for.
Oh no! Was he wanting the exact painting that he saw?
No, he was quite specific about that. He wanted some empty beer bottles in it, and I didn't really want to paint that, so I didn't.
So you shouldn't if you don't want to.
I shouldn't. And then after I'd done that one, actually that painting ended up in London, and I got a wonderful email from the from the son saying it's just reminds me of home and I love it.
Mm.
So it was a happy ending. But after that, I said I'm not doing any more commissions, and I haven't really done commissions since then. That was the only one.
It's a funny one, commissions. There's sort of good and bad things about it, and a lot of artists decide that they're not going to continue with commissions.
Yeah,
quite a lot of people I've spoken to, but I guess that would have been even harder because people loved that particular painting, and then all these people said, I want something like that, which is probably even harder rather than just someone saying, I want one of your works, create something.
Yes, so that's more what happens these days. So, and then, if somebody asks for something, then I won't promise anything, but I'll do something. And if they like it, they can buy it. So
yeah.
That's how I work these days. And it feels much more comfortable for myself and for my process. If I'm having to do something that someone else has requested specifically, it doesn't feel right. It feels a bit fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get it. Yeah. So, I mean, you were incredibly successful so early on.
Yeah.
So, you'd imagine with that kind of start that you would, be a famous artist by now.
Whoops.
So what happened after that?
Yeah, I had 4 children and I tried to carry on, but also Christian and I, my partner, we were busy starting up a coffee brand and trying to run that. I think maybe about after we'd had 2 children, he went and studied law because he was not interested in doing the coffee anymore. But I carried on doing the cafe by myself and trying to do the exhibitions as well.
And be a mum.
Yeah, and be a mum. And I actually I got admitted to hospital and told I had to sit down and do nothing while I was pregnant with my little boy because I was doing too much and it was risking the pregnancy. So I was busy running my business from the hospital and painting as well. And actually for my last pregnancy, I started an exhibition when I found out I was pregnant. I started an exhibition. I finished it on the day that she was born.
Really?
So I did a whole exhibition while she was in my tummy. My poor family had to look after all the other kids.
You did so well to do that though. I mean, how did you find
I always had
headspace?
to be on bed rest.
Oh, that part was, I guess it was good from that. It's like having lockdown.
It was like lockdown. I wasn't allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
It had to be horizontal.
For both your third and fourth children.
Yeah.
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 It would have been good in that respect.
I was probably a bit frantic. Yeah. I wonder if my work looked frantic. I don't think it did. It was very ordered. My work was very, very ordered. In fact, the way that I used to work was very, very structured. I used to measure things and I used to make sure things were really, really square and really perfect.
Well, maybe that was a response. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you needed that sort of, because children are so unpredictable. You needed that sort of formality.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what was the work like at that point?
Well, I was painting those same sort of houses, but I'd got into painting the couches on porches. I'd look out for old couches that were on porches in the sun and photograph them all around Auckland. And most of my exhibitions around that time were these sort of porch stages, and the couches and the armchairs were these characters on the stage, and it was a very interesting kind of how to say it, like a looking out, looking in type dynamic. So, we're sort of looking at these characters on a stage, but they're kind of looking out at us. It's a viewing point. It's the porch is where you sit and you look at the things going by. And there were sort of shadows and reflections everywhere. And so you kind of get the idea that there's more than just what you can see. Yeah. And sometimes
Beautiful.
the window open so you could see through to another room or a little peek around the edge of the house to the garden. And
Beautiful. And your work, well, it always has been quite representational, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'd say I'm a realist.
Yeah.
But there's definitely more to it than just a still life or a landscape. There's just about always a story, characters within the work. Yeah.
And do you communicate that story when you're showing the work at all, or is it just something you keep to yourself?
I don't. Because I think it's important, that dynamic with the viewer, that they have their own story, and their story they may connect in a different way to to what I'm speaking about.
Yeah. And their own response.
Yeah. And I've always been interested in that. From that first Pick Me exhibition, where people get to be part of the work.
And what happened after that? I know you became very busy with your kids growing up.
Yeah.
Were you painting after the couches and the porches?
I think my last couple of paintings I did were 2018. I did some work for a fundraising show, which were the couches again. And those paintings were very much talking about my my journey. They were very personal. And that, I think, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was suddenly like, it feels a bit exposed. It feels like a bit scary.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think the viewer was actually getting the peek into your personal
probably
life?
not.
Yeah, it was just for you.
It was for me, yeah. Yeah, my work became quite, I don't know, I think maybe I was just aware of it more. I was aware of how it's sort of impossible to do work without transmitting something of yourself. And, it was very, very ordered, and technical. But then suddenly I saw this other thing, which was very personal, and yeah.
And did that sort of hit home a bit and sort of make you back off?
Yeah, I think so. I think I became a little bit, it was just a little bit heavy, and probably daunting, that I was going to have to deal with this stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you left it for a few years.
Yeah, I just
left your painting.
I think that was the time where I was just procrastinating because of that, and everything got a bit hard. Yeah.
And you didn't see painting at that time as your release or your escape. You felt like it was actually bringing up things that you didn't necessarily want to think about, or?
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment. Yeah. Although it was always my intention. I was like, must go and do some painting. I've got to tidy the house first. Got to do this. Got to pay these invoices. Got to sort this out. Kids need dropping off. Or, there's lots and lots and lots of things in my life that take priority. I remember my auntie saying, you're not painting because you're not prioritising it. You're not actually putting it at the top of the list. If you want to paint, you need to put it at the top of the list. And then, don't worry about all this other stuff. You just paint.
So true.
But I wouldn't allow myself for whatever reason. Yeah.
And then from 2018, you really stopped painting.
Yes. Yeah, it was too much. And I did I did have a request from a friend to fix up the painting that she had intended to give her husband for a wedding present. It was the landscape of Te Mata Peak, and she was really struggling with it, and it had been, stored in the under the stairs for a few years, and she said, look, can you just tidy it up for me? And I had never done landscapes, so I said, not really, it's going to be too hard for me. And eventually I said yes, and I ended up repainting it, and she was just so delighted with it, and after that I thought, I could do this, I could paint landscapes, and then I got busy again and didn't do it.
And then 2023.
Yes, so 2022
brings you to this amazing moment where you decide, I need to get painting again, and I need something to help me get
the
disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, make a priority of it as well. Like say, I'm going to do this now. And if I have a goal, I know me, and I know that if I have a goal, then I will do it. So the challenge was really good. I'd had a friend do the 100-day challenge many years ago when she was looking at having more discipline, more routine in her life.
And the 100-day challenge is?
So a 100-day challenge is a creative challenge. You can choose what you do for the 100-day challenge. My friend chose to crochet a beanie every day. She didn't know how to crochet, so it was a learning thing for her. It's usually a learning thing. So you choose something that you don't know much about, you don't know how to do, so that you've got some kind of progression.
Learning.
It's not some kind of learning. And for me, I sort of had an inkling that I'd quite like to learn more about landscapes. So I thought, well, I could just do landscapes. I could just say that's going to be my 100-day project. And the first one I did, I just did it on a scrap of paper that was lying around my studio, that had already been scribbled on by some child. And in that way, it was not precious. It didn't matter. And I chose a photo that my friend had sent me of Wellington, that I thought, it's got some nice simple lines of the hills there, and I just quickly put some paint down, and I thought, that looks okay. I could do that. And then it didn't really matter. It wasn't like it had to be a finished work of art. It was very much like an easy little sketch. So the next day I thought, I can do that again. And if it doesn't matter, then I can do it if it's not precious. So it was very much like that every day, that it doesn't matter if I don't like it. It doesn't matter if it's no good. I'm just going to do another one the next day anyway. It's just a process. I'm
and
very
it's still
much
counted.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't do any throwing away, you just
no throwing away.
Kept everything that you made every day.
Yeah, every day kept everything. And then some days I didn't manage it, and that was okay. That's part of they talk about the 100-day project and online as a very forgiving process, that that life happens, and sometimes you can't paint that day, or you can't do your challenge.
And are you thinking?
Okay.
Were you thinking at that point at the beginning that you would create 100 paintings?
Yes,
however long that took.
Yes, yeah. And I gave myself a bit of leeway to say, well, if I miss a day, that's okay. And it's 100 days. It's a painting a day for 100 days, but it doesn't matter if they're not consecutive.
Right.
I mean, it would have been nice if I didn't have any days where I didn't manage it, because I do really love it. Every time I sit down, I absolutely love it. It's a treat. And, as I say, if it's a priority, it's just so... It's so good. Yeah.
That is so good. And why did you want to do this? What was your main goal?
The main goal was to get my artistic voice back, just to find myself again. Yeah. And I think that's happened. I think I've definitely found my process again, and I guess, part of it was that fear of having to put myself on paper. And there's lots and lots of self-doubt in me that says I can't do it. I'm not a real artist. Who do I think I am? That sort of imposter syndrome.
Which is interesting when you've been to Elam School of Fine Art. You got all these amazing awards in high school, and then you got, represented by a gallery partway through university, and you're still with that gallery.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. It's so, yeah.
Isn't it interesting, imposter syndrome? It can be, it doesn't really matter what the background is for an artist or what their experience or what their success is. They still feel it.
Yeah, definitely there. It's there whenever I paint. It's there whenever I sit down. What do you think you're doing? You can't paint. Anybody could do this. Or someone's going to find out that you're not a real painter.
Oh, isn't that a shame? Do you feel like with these 100 paintings, which number are you up to, by the way?
Actually just finished 87.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you feel
Only
like...
got 13 left.
That's amazing. You've done so well. And are you feeling, through this process that you are sort of backing away from that imposter syndrome feeling, and that you're starting to feel more in yourself, and that you're contributing something from yourself, and that's okay?
I definitely have moments of feeling that, but it doesn't go away for me, or it hasn't gone away just because I've done something good. It doesn't mean that the next one's going to be good. It's always like it's there. I don't know, it just stays. But it's okay that it's there. I actually can hear it now, and I can just say, it's okay, I'm going to carry on anyway. And I think that we haven't really talked about me being an art teacher, but I think that's what I help the kids do when I'm teaching. That, that there's always a moment when you're working that you think it's a disaster and you really hate it. And at that time, it's the most important thing is to push through, is to continue. And you do get through it. It's that middle messy bit that is the hard bit. The beginning is exciting.
Yeah.
And then it gets hard. And then if you get through that hard bit in the middle, then you have something. You have finished something. And then you can look back on it and decide whether you like it or not. But it doesn't matter if you like it. That's the part of the thing about the 100-day project is there's another one the next day.
Yeah. But you made sure that you finished each one to completion.
Yeah, well, when I say to completion, it's not like I was happy with it. Like sometimes I just had to finish it because I was sick of it. Or, I was hating it so much that I just had to put it away. Yeah, there were lots like that.
Really?
Yeah.
And so you've kindly bought some of these paintings for me to have a look at, and they are so stunning. I can't believe that you've painted them so quickly within a day.
Yeah.
And they are really beautiful. And I've noticed with your Instagram page that they have been really well received, haven't they? And you've sold quite a few.
Yes.
Which probably was not necessarily the intention.
It wasn't, no. But people were asking, and when I went to the gallery and got some feedback from them, they said you should definitely sell them. Yeah. And they're now selling them for me, which is a great relief, actually.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for someone who hasn't seen this work, and we will have it up on your blog post, can you describe the landscapes and your colour palette, and then we can talk about your process?
Okay, so my colour palette is quite subdued. I tend to soften things. quite a lot. The landscapes are often places that are not recognisable, so little pieces of a place. The parts of the landscapes I choose, I'm really looking for rhythm and shape and composition. And then the other part of it, which is part of my process, is that I'm looking for something that feels right. Well, it's not that I'm looking really; I'm just feeling it. When I'm looking at my material, I'm flicking through and I'm just seeing what happens when I look at the material. I'm saying, okay, is this drawing me in? Is this the one I need to paint today? And often it will be something that I'm feeling on that day that needs to come out. So they're quite emotional sometimes. But if I let that happen, then it does come out, like the expression of whatever I want to say does come out if I let it happen. So anyway, so the landscape, the fact that it's a landscape is sort of secondary. Like, I'm not painting a place necessarily. I'm painting a feeling. I'm painting an expression of myself. Yeah. So
fascinating. And how do you find these images? Are they photographs that you take?
Sometimes. Yeah, I have a lot of photographs that I take. I have a lot of photographs that a particular friend who's in Wellington sends me regularly. He does lots of travelling. He does lots of walking and travels around and he sends me lots of photos. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you have been adding figures into your landscapes sometimes.
Yeah.
And some of those figures are family members.
Yes.
Yeah. So what made you decide to add figures? Because that's not something you've really done so much through the years, is it?
No, I don't really paint figures. I've got a bit of a block around figures and belief that I'm not a figure painter. I can't paint people. It's not me. So often eliminate the figure. In fact, in one of my paintings, in the photo, there was a figure and I deleted it for the painting. And I went back to it actually and redid it and put the figure in. And it's actually a better painting with the figure in it. It just has a certain, there's something else that a figure adds that I don't know, there's something dreamy about a figure. And people really love them, but I haven't got a lot of material to paint. I haven't got a lot of figures that that I want to paint. So, and as I say, I'm not really a figure painter, so it's not like I can just,
whip them out.
Yeah, I can't do that.
But I'm sure you can, really. Looking at your figures, they're beautiful.
Yeah, it'd have to be in the landscape already. And then often the landscape that I choose hasn't got a figure in it. Yeah, so I'll see.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to do more figures. I just haven't figured out how to do that yet.
And speaking about your colour palette again, as you said, it is sort of soft and muted, which might also be a reflection on your emotions. But it has a real sort of blue and green sense.
Oh, yeah. I did try and do some orangey red, but it's really not me. But yes, the blue and green is very me. I definitely lean towards the blues and greens. Yeah. And
there's a lovely cohesiveness between the paintings and I think they would be a beautiful exhibition because they speak to each other so beautifully.
Yeah, they sit next to each other quite well.
They really do.
Yeah.
And how amazing that you can take on this kind of project and actually create work of such high calibre.
Oh, thanks, Mandy.
Really? I mean, I think that, but your gallery obviously thinks that, and then people are responding to it and wanting to buy your paintings. Yeah. So that must be really good for your confidence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, definitely. And I do accept that I do have the ability to paint. I think, there is definitely still a voice there saying, well, they're not real paintings. But I'm looking forward to doing some larger works. And people have said that they look like large works already. that some of them,
they do.
they look huge. But
have you ever considered
small.
getting prints made and enlarging what you've painted?
I could do that. I considered doing prints of them early on. I thought I would get some prints done. But I think it's not really worth doing that with these particular paintings because there's already 100 of them. There were some that were quite popular that I could have sold several times. But I think if I do prints, I'll probably do them of my larger works. Yeah.
Very good. I'm just so impressed. And watching your Instagram page, I'm like, oh my God, Helen is just like so, what's the word? Prolific. Yeah. I mean, just day after day, there's another amazing painting, which is really incredible and inspirational.
I hope it's inspirational for people.
Yeah,
I totally encourage people to take on any 100-day challenge that you want to do. It's a really good thing to do.
And once you've done 100 of something, then you it almost becomes routine and part of your life, I imagine.
Yeah, you definitely change. It's a growth. It's definitely a growth project.
I think I need to do that myself.
You don't know what's going to happen. It's exciting. For me, every day, I don't know what I'm going to paint. I sit down not knowing what I'm going to paint each day. I haven't planned it weeks in advance. It's in the moment and very much, one at a time.
I think it's a lovely idea to have that sort of theme or collection kind of idea, or it's like an umbrella over what you're doing. I think would make it a little bit easier that you're sort of within an area that you're working on rather than having
restrictions.
To every morning think, what am I going to paint?
Yeah.
So good. And your process, how do you actually approach your paintings?
Well, when I sit down, as I say, I'm not sure what's going to come out today. So I tend to, as I say, look at my material. I go through my material and something will catch me, and then I'll work with that until I feel that I've got the part of the painting that is, it's got the balance or the rhythm or something that feels right.
And are you sketching at this point?
No, I'm just looking at the photo.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the photo and I'm changing the cropping. Yeah, I just change the cropping and I look for what I want in the painting and I think about what I'm going to eliminate and how close up or what I'm going to take in, what I'm going to put in it. And then once I've decided, then I take my paper down to my table. And then I just start painting. So I don't do any sketching or drawing first. I just put the paint on the paper.
Wow.
And I tend to start with the darkest areas. So I block out what the darkest areas look like. I can show you some process photos of some paintings if you like.
We can put that in your blog post.
Yeah, do that.
That'd be great.
So I tend to just block out the dark areas or block out the colours, whatever's important about that particular painting. And then during that process, something will usually happen that I haven't noticed about the composition or the landscape that I'll start to make more of. So I'll notice that these hills are the same shape, or there's a rhythm here that I didn't notice, or this shadow is pulling the painting this way, and then I'll start to feel the painting a little bit better. So that's the first part of it, and then it looks pretty messy after that, but I can kind of see how it's going, and then I will start putting the details in and the textures, and changing the balance if I need to with the colours or the light, and then doing the finishing details, and then it's done. So it takes sometimes 5 minutes, 10 minutes to choose a painting. Sometimes it takes 2 hours. I just have to get myself into the right space. Sometimes I'll have to go for a walk around the house. if it's not happening. And then to do the actual painting, it takes 5 to 7 hours to do a painting.
Wow. And how do you actually fit that into your day?
Well, it's a total priority.
So when the children are at school?
Yeah. If the children are at school, or sometimes I will, I'm going to say it takes 5 to 7 hours. There are breaks, and, I can go cook dinner while a layer of paint is drying, or like the process is not continuous. I'm also doing other things. I'll, sometimes go and answer a phone call, or when I'm in my studio, when I'm painting, I usually haven't got any distractions. So I'll only be doing those things by choice if I'm going to take a break. I'll go and do something that just gets my head clear a little bit. I don't need to, I need to know that I've got the time.
Yeah.
That I've got, the day to do it.
And you've sort of made that commitment for those 100 days that you're not going to take on other big projects or other work.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is quite a hard thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah. I think my particular challenge is quite ambitious. I think that probably people wouldn't normally do a finished painting a day. That it would normally be, I think what they say is, choose something you can do 10 to 15 minutes in a day. So it is a bit extreme, but I tend to be a bit extreme.
You've got high standards for yourself.
Yeah, well, it's my challenge. I like having a big challenge. Yeah, and that really engages me.
Yeah,
and it's I'm being serious. This is a serious challenge. Yeah,
and it's really just kickstarting, another stage in your career, isn't it? It's
absolutely.
It's just got you back on the path.
Yeah.
And it's so lovely that your gallery is kind of connecting with you with this work, even though you weren't thinking of it as sort of creating an amazing show.
Yeah.
It's become that, which is so good.
Yeah. I think they like the story as well.
Yeah, it's a great story. And I'm sure for our audience it will be really an inspiring idea.
Yeah.
That you can take sort of however you want to take it, but it's such a great concept. So where to from here, Helen?
Wow, that's exciting. I think I'm pretty excited about being a full-time artist again. I feel, quite a lot of faith that I can do it now, and I've kind of cleared my schedule of other things. I've got a good routine, and it's just a matter of starting on some larger works once this series is finished, and I will just continue with my process. Yeah. So
great. And can you see yourself continuing with the larger landscapes, or do you think you could go back to the furniture or the houses, or maybe a combination?
I think some of that might come back, but I think I'm really loving the landscapes. One of the things that I really love about the landscapes is the fluidity and the movement, which isn't really there in my older work. My older work, as I said, is very structured. But I really love the freedom of landscapes. And even something that is recognizable. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be a photo. I'm not trying to make a photo.
Yeah.
I'm expressing something. Yeah.
And you really have a strong style. I mean, the paintings are obviously, when you look at them en masse, they are obviously from the same artist.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Yeah. I guess I can see that now that it's out there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So when you finish this project, are you going to decide on having a show and then work towards that, or how do you think you're going to approach your
So I'll start doing some larger works, and I'll start building up some stock for the gallery. And the idea is that they will show some smaller works and some larger works, and do some mini showings and just start to get a following. And it may take quite some time before I have a solo show, because what they all need to do is build up a following. And I'll need to be doing lots of work. And who knows where that will go. You know, the work takes itself there. And, you know, I don't know what it's going to look like.
So
which is
exciting.
very exciting. It's a cool.
Oh, wow. I mean, I can just see in your face how much this project has inspired you and sort of, you know, it's just going to lead to so many other things, who knows what. But, you know, that's a really very cool thing.
It's a good start to my journey.
Yeah, well done. Go you.
Thanks, Mandy.
So I guess we're kind of at that time where we need to think about the last 4 questions. So what would you say to your younger artistic self?
I'd say that whatever you do, you can't help be yourself. So just be yourself. You don't need to try and be anything but yourself.
And tell us about your favourite artists.
Okay, so one of the artists that I've loved for so many years is Robin White. One of the things I love about her is just how distinctive her work is. It's just so unique. And then beyond that, I really love how she's got this juxtaposition of the very, very fine details. So the people have these really, really fine details in the hair and the skin, and then the landscape is just this sort of blocky,
flat,
stylized. I really love that about her work. And also I love how it's so current to her life. She paints, you know, where she is at, all through her life. Her early stuff is I particularly like, but then I also love how she just she's expressing what's happening to her.
And where she is. And what she's doing.
Yeah.
And she is a painter and a printmaker, isn't she?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about bringing some of that printmaking that you were doing so well at high school back into your painting?
I would be interested in doing some printmaking. I'd have to have a space for it. It's quite technical. But I have done some screen prints. I did them a few years ago of my chairs, which was fun. Yeah, I love printmaking. Yeah.
I mean, I think the chairs would lend themselves really well to printmaking, you know, to prints.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's off topic. So as an artist, what is your biggest challenge, would you say?
Turning up. Yeah. Turning up.
And this project has helped with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That has,
having a goal.
I think getting that, just being there and doing it. Because it's so easy just to say, it's too hard today.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And what drives you to make the kind of work you make?
I guess what drives me is that satisfaction of expression, self-expression. Yeah. It is a really satisfying thing to get it down on the page. And then you can look back at it and you see yourself. And it's just, I guess, eye-opening. It's helpful.
Illuminating,
that's a good word. Yeah. It's definitely illuminating. Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful record of someone's life, isn't it? Sort of recording the growth or the journey.
Yeah.
In such an interesting way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets it out. It's not like therapy, but it is self-expression. And I think people need to express themselves. I think it's very human.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, thank you very, very much, Helen, for coming out to Muriwai Beach. We managed to get you through the cordons, which is still up at the moment due to the cyclone situation. And it's really lovely to see you again. We have kind of kept in touch over the years.
Yeah.
but it's great to sit down and have a chat and to actually hear your story.
Yeah.
And I think that 100-Day Project has really inspired me and given me some food for thought.
Oh, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do there.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I really enjoyed coming here and chatting to you.
Thank you.